This is like the millionth time I've tried to do this video between the cat and the dog chasing each other and the phone ringing. I'm not having much luck today. But I just have a couple more Valentines to share. I'm just about done making them. I just made a handful and we're going to deliver them to some local friends with some candy and stuff tomorrow. So this one is for my daughter's dance coach, and she's young and she's really fun. But this stamp is a Sugar Nelly stamp. Her name is Goth Girl, and I colored her with my Copics, which I did find quite challenging because there are so many. Let's see if I can get up close here. There are so many little tiny areas to color, but I'm, like I said, learning as I go. One thing that might help other folks who are new to Copics was that I found out when I had color, I have kind of a heavy hand, and that's my issue. I need to learn to have a lighter hand because my color is bleeding outside the lines, and then I'm trying to get it back in with the colorless blender. But one thing that I learned with the colorless blender is that when you're using it to push the color back inside the lines, if you take your heat gun real quick and zap it, and it dries it quick, then it holds the color in, versus if you don't use the heat gun, then the colorless blender eventually works, but it tends to pull the color out because the paper is so wet. So I found using the heat gun really helped. This stamp, it was just a stamp, says to my Valentine, and I did that with black embossing powder. I'm hoping to do a video sometime soon to show and let you guys know where I ordered a whole bunch of stamps from all over the place. I got some from New Zealand and some from England and some from local in the States. But even the ones I got from outside of the country, with the shipping was very inexpensive. So, and some of them were, pretty. I was looking for different types of stamps. So I will hopefully do a video on that. But this came from a huge Valentine set that I had ordered from a place called Flans in New Zealand. But getting back to the card, this was this V here was off of a piece of just 12 by 12 Tim Holtz paper, and I popped that up on some corrugated cardboard that I glimmer misted and put some gesso on. And then this was another 12 by 12 piece of vellum that just had random vintagey letters on it, or distress letters on it. And then this down here was a tag my daughter gave me off of a it's pretty thick chipboard that came on a piece of clothing, and she said, "Oh, Mom, maybe you can do something with this." So I just scrunched it up and used a chevron stamp on the background. And then this stamp that says Insta Love, I use white embossing powder, and that's a Unity stamp. And then I made a couple of metal hearts. I used my movers and shapers from Tim Holtz, the heart die, and then ran that through the Cuttlebug with an embossing folder. And when I use the metal pieces, I put Mod Podge on top of them and then color them with my Faber-Castell pens, and that seems to it just adheres the color real well when you use the Indian ink pens over the top of the Mod Podge. And there she is. I used a tiny bit of stickles on her boots and on her hair and on the little metal things on her arm. So that's card number 1. And then the next one. This image is a red lead stamp. Red Lead Paperworks.com, I think, is the website. And it's a store out of St. Louis, and I just stamped her on a piece of metallic silver paper and just colored a tiny little bit, the flowers and the XO. And I made this banner up here, and this is the same Unity stamp. I just stamped it and then actually cut out the letters and put some gesso and stickles on there, and I just stitched it across. I don't know if you can see that. Just stitched it right across the banner and then popped that up. and put some seam binding and a glass button and painted. These are just the plain wild orchid craft flowers, and I painted them with acrylic paints. And I believe I used some distressed ink, and then I put some glossy accents on it, and then put a whole bunch of the Ranger Dry Distress glitter on there, and added some pearl bling. That was that one. And I also I did some layering, and this is just some like box pleat ribbon underneath there. And then popped it all up a little bit with some dimensionals. And then I have one more card I'm finishing up, so I might add that one to the end of this video. And I think I'm done with my Valentines and want to get back into finishing up the last two sections of my mini album that I started in November. I'd really like to get that completed sometime soon, so that's going to be my next goal. And I think that's all I have for today, so I'll try and get that stamp video together at some point. And hope everyone's having a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.